Welcome to week 5 of The Artist Way, recovering a sense of possibility. So we start with talking about limits. Contrary to what we believe, we are actually in the possession of an unlimited bank account with the universe. And in order to not accidentally send back the things that we've asked for because we can't believe that this good thing actually happened to us, we need to be willing to receive the things that we're asking for and being open to the possibility of them. And how do we do that if we've never experienced it before? We slowly expand our own willingness to dream, to wish, to be open to synchronicity, to surprises coming from unexpected angles, and to slowly clarify what it is that we want to do. And one day our vision comes to life. But it doesn't come to life just because we wanted it, but because we clarified what it is that we wanted and then we worked towards it. If you don't clarify, if you don't allow yourself to dream, you will never get there. You won't have the destination necessary in your perception, in your imagination. You need to have a destination for your imagination to be able to take you there, but also to take the right steps, to talk to the right people, to have the initiative and the impulse to reach out to that person that you think will help you. But it's not an intellectual exercise, it's an allowing exercise. And it's a feeling of clarity and direction that will come through the practice of continuously evolving what it is that you want to do. And then seeing the avenues that will emerge. For example, in Chapter 5, Julia describes the life of a lady named Kara who had an abusive agent. And this agent was on a particularly abusive phone call with her. And Kara decided that she didn't want to do this anymore and she let her go. And coincidentally, her husband, who had already known that something was going on with this agent, had been asked if Kara needed an agent. And at this point she did. So what he had already kept in his back pocket for 2 weeks, he connected her with that new agent, and Kara has since been very happy finding a supportive person that would really help her grow her career as an artist. And that is also something that can happen once we are aware of the network of people around the world. It's just a side note from me. We used to be connected every person to every person by 6 acquaintances. And nowadays it is free. So having a network of people that can help you can be incredibly valuable. For example, I recently met somebody who is an actor who actually knows the husband of Julia Cameron. And that's interesting that now essentially, even though I have not talked to her, and I maybe never will, who knows, maybe I will. But to have these kind of connections is something that we can allow to come to us. Isn't that interesting? But how did that happen? Because I started to talk about the book to absolutely everybody, and then my friend told me that she knows somebody, and then we became friends. And that's, how these kind of synchronicities can happen. In this case, not just to Kara, but also to me. This is how we learn, one small leap, one wish at a time, to rely on the universe and to see what comes to us. Because it was a question that I asked myself, am I connected to the author of this book in some way? And within 3 weeks, I figured out that yes, I actually am. So no limits. The next chapter is finding the river. At first, finding this kind of stream of possibility, this river of what could be, is filled with contradicting emotions, hope, fear. It can be very strenuous. We've talked about it before in another video. But once we get out of our fixed views and our perceptions, we can allow more of us to come through, and also we can allow other people to just have more space to be as they are without having to interfere or control. And we step into the flow of what is and what could be instead of willing things. And the river is a stream of possibility that we can get connected to, and where ideas just come to us. At first we might be fearful or have doubts, or maybe we also have hope, but it's all kind of not clear. And then through the work we're doing with the artist dates and the morning pages, we gradually shift. We step into a flow that slowly starts moving us towards our goals. And through trying new things, like in the last chapter, we go from I can't believe I did this to I can't believe I haven't done this sooner. Our job is to become internally clear and really focused on what it is that we want to do, and then be alert to the universe and see which door it flips open. And this door that opens up has an engraving. And the engraving says maybe. Is it magic? No, it's not magic. It is knowing how to connect to the possibilities. It can look like magic, it might even be magic, but it's actually just us being really intentional and then allowing all of the different possibilities that could be. The next bit is something that I think a lot of people suffer from, which is the virtue trap. Most humans that I know are lovers, and lovers want to be there for other people. It also means that sometimes lovers don't allow themselves to have real downtime and to be alone. But especially when those lovers are artists, we must have downtime. It's very, very important to have downtime. If we don't withdraw from others, we will end up resenting them because we think that they are the reason for us not having a real break, when in reality it was us who made the decision to not just really be alone. It's completely unreasonable to expect that our inner artist can constantly produce and be very productive without the necessary upkeep and nourishment. And this will be a hard one, okay? Being nice to other people is not a substitute for following our own dreams. And then we end up full of resentment, although the other people are innocent, when it really was us all along. We disconnect from ourselves, supposedly on behalf of others. We call ourselves blocked, but in reality, we're just not full enough of ourselves to fully be here. So test it, see how that feels for you, test how you can connect to this idea of maybe there is not enough space for you to really be here. And if that resonates, you know what to do. Create the space for you. You are allowed to be here and to be creative and to have fun. You're not just here to serve other people. And what I love about Julia is so funny. She called these people who suffer on the behalf of being nice or being recognized by others nicknames like Fabulous Fred and Martyred Mary. But just because this is a socially accepted way of being self-destructive doesn't mean that we should do it. The next part is called the Virtue Trap quiz, where Julia asks us essentially where we created these misconceptions. So, what would you do if it wasn't too selfish? Let's get into the habits of making lists and just doing things that we would consider too crazy or too selfish to expand our realm of possibility. This is how we seek our creative source within and to really connect with it, to know that the universe is good, that we are good, and that our work is good. Freedom, essentially. Forbidden joys and exercise. One of the favorite tricks of blocked creative is saying no to ourselves. So, list 10 things you love and would love to do, but are not allowed to do. This is another way of sidestepping our self-judgments. So you would essentially be doing a list of 10 things that you would love to do, but shouldn't be doing. And it's really interesting what kind of things come up. And then in retrospect, we're like, why exactly did I not allow myself to streak my hair blonde or direct a play? It's like, this is not something I should do, but this judgment just came up at some point and was never challenged again. So we're essentially challenging all of our preconceived notions to get more wiggle room, to have more possibility in our life. And sometimes really fun things come up. The last bit of this chapter is a wish list, an exercise where you write for 20 times, I wish, I wish, I wish, I wish, and then you just fill the sentence. For example, I wish for sunshine, I wish for rest, I wish for fruit, I wish for a bike seat. Eventually I come to, I wish for thousands of butterflies. Okay, that's an interesting one. That could lead me somewhere. I don't know where, but it sounds fun. It's really fun to do this exercise, and I think it's fun to get in the habit of doing this actually not just once a year or every other year when I do the course, but this could be something that I do regularly to just open up my mind. And this is how you can open yourself up. Granted that you have already gotten into the habit of allowing a bit more, which is a little bit of a prerequisite, but it's not a perfect zero-sum game. Just keep doing the exercise and see what comes up and have fun with them. This week's tasks I would call reverse regrets. Why? Because essentially Julia challenges us to go back in time or to travel forward in time and to see what kind of missed possibilities there could be that we could reconnect with. For example, if I were 20 and had money, list 5 adventures and add the images to your visual image file. Or, by contrast, if I were 65 and had money, list 5 postponed pleasures. So we are looking for opportunities. What's really interesting is that from the wish list and exercise, I came up with a dream of a butterfly conservatory. That's interesting. And to have a film studio in there would be really amazing, like in the midst of like plants and butterflies and whatnot. That's a cool one. And I had another dream apparently of designing clothes. Now that I've done these exercises for a few weeks, I can tell that they really like kind of link into each other. So last week's artist day led me to fabrics, and now in a kind of a consecutive step of nourishment, I'm like, oh, I would love to actually take it further and develop clothing from these fabrics. This week's artist date was going to a local farmer's market and listening to music. I actually went there to buy flowers, to arrange flowers for an artist date, but it ended up being the artist date itself that I just sat there and listened to a gentleman playing what is called the Chapman stick. It's close to a guitar, but not really a guitar. It's more of a string instrument that you can play by touching the strings rather than plucking them. It was beautiful. He was able to play all kinds of different melodies and bass at the same time. And I was just mesmerized. It was so good. I'm going to link his YouTube channel because he's just great. So if you would like to know what a Chapman stick is, that's it. Amazing. I hope I'll see you next week when we will speak about recovering a sense of abundance. We will talk about money, we will talk about luxury, and we will talk about authentic luxury. Because it turns out luxury is highly subjective. See you then.